Quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, Boingvert. Boingvert is the best-selling jumping program for athletes in the world with over 500,000 users. On average, users have gained 10.3 inches on their jump, there's no weights necessary, and the program can be done right at home with 24/7 customer service. If you're interested, the link to the program will be both in the comment section and in the description, and be sure to use my promo code DOM2K for 20% off of your purchase. Before y'all start getting salty at me for my predictions, in all fairness, if you go back to that first video, I told you they were going to be 100% wrong. That is literally the first thing that I said. I also said you get to the playoffs and teams start acting totally different, and you know, that might be why I'm like one of the only NBA YouTubers left that actually puts time into prediction videos, because they're fun to do, but especially this year with what we're watching now, you just see that the playoffs are a totally different season. Like, it damn near doesn't matter what happened in the regular season, who won the season series, how they look like they match up. You know, you get to the playoffs and all of a sudden, you've got D'Angelo Russell pick and rolling Boban to death, and for some reason, they just let it happen. They keep letting Boban sink into the paint, D'Lo gets the mid-range. That's something I'm going to be seeing if they adjust to tonight. One important thing that I forgot is that playoff Lowry is a thing. So he might have some decent numbers sometimes, but it's like a yearly ritual that at some point he disappoints, and this year that happened to be in game 1 when DJ Augustine totally outworked him, totally outplayed him. So anyways, I don't think it should affect the actual outcome of the series that much. I still think Toronto's going to beat the Magic, and I'm not going to overreact to one game too much either. The Nets and Sixers are tonight. I still expect the Sixers to win that series, but I will say one thing I didn't know, because that report came out after I got done with the predictions. I didn't realize how bad Joel Embiid is lumbering around right now. I knew he was kind of slow at the end of the season. They were holding him out, but I thought he was going to be good. I didn't know he was lumbering as bad as he is right now. If I had known he was actually doubtful for game 1 before he even played, I probably would have gave the Nets a game or two, but like I said, not overreacting to either. I don't anticipate we're going to end up with the Magic Nets semifinal, but stranger things in the NBA have happened. Anyways, today we got Unpopular Opinions Playoff Edition. Thought this would be a fun thing to do, see what some of y'all are thinking about the NBA playoffs in general, not just this year. Got a lot of responses, but really only a few actual unpopular opinions that were really worth discussing here. So we're going to go ahead and start with this one that says, I like the 2-3-2 away home game format over the 2-2-1-1-1 format. If you're not exactly sure what he's referencing for some reason, he's talking about in the NBA Finals. If you weren't aware, a while back, well, not even that long, I think 2015, 2014, the format in the finals used to be that the team with home court advantage in the finals would get the first 2 games on their home court. Then the away team would get 3 straight home games. That's the only home games of the series, obviously, but they would get 3 straight. And then the last 2 games would be home court advantage, whoever has the home court advantage. So if there's a game 7, it would be on their home floor. And he's saying that he likes that one over what we have now. And I think that changed in 2015, where everything just happens like a regular playoff series. So I do have some thoughts about that. I know this has something to do with travel, but I actually like the way it is now, where they switch so that the home team gets the same advantages that you have all throughout the playoffs, because that 3 straight games away, that is crucial. That's almost like having an advantage. There's been a lot of teams that I can think of that had nearly dropped the finals because of those 3 games. Because you play those 3 games in the away arena and it almost don't even feel like you have home court advantage anymore. So like in 2010, the Celtics, that was very crucial. They were able to steal a game in LA. Then they won 2 straight in Boston. So I guess in the end, it ended up helping LA to have game 6 and game 7 on their home floor. But that first game that Boston lost, which was game 3, that was extremely close too. So Boston could have ended up closing that in 5, and they didn't even have home court. Same thing with the Spurs and Heat in 2013. It ended up working in Miami's advantage that game 6 and 7 were at home, probably just game 7 because they almost lost game 6. But yeah, San Antonio did the same exact thing. They actually dominated the last 2 games they had at home that year. And I think game 3 they nearly won as well. I think that might be the game that Dwayne Wade went off and kind of saved Miami. Either way, I don't know. I do not like the team that doesn't have home court advantage being able to just play 3 straight in their home court. I think that has some power. If a couple of things happen, it's almost like having an advantage. But again, it has worked out for the home team a couple of times, so That is an interesting conversation. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Here's an interesting one since we were just talking about the Sixers and Nets. This says that Ben Simmons and Embiid will never work in the playoffs. They need to commit to Embiid and move Simmons for a guard and some 3-and-D guys. Well, yeah, go back to my prediction video, and one thing I was saying is that I was wondering, like the specific quote is, I was wondering how this Ben Simmons thing was going to work in the playoffs. Because the game slows down, it becomes a massive problem that you don't have to guard him, and it becomes significantly harder for him to generate offense. Now, I didn't think that was going to affect them this early, like how last year they took the Heat in 5 games, Ben Simmons played pretty well. I thought as you got deeper into the playoffs against teams with more talent that would matter, but in game 1 that was an issue. Crowd started booing Ben Simmons because he was playing so poorly. It's almost like that was affecting other parts of his game. He wasn't successful on offense, and he just wasn't successful anywhere really. But this is trying to foresee the future where they're just gonna have to get rid of Ben Simmons basically. I've got thoughts about that. I think Ben Simmons has to have a reckoning, or somebody needs to be honest with him in his circle. That he's been big his whole life. He said he never really had to work on his shot, but he's in the NBA now, and you're on a team that has championship aspirations at some point not too far from now. You've got to get a respectable shot. Giannis has a respectable shot right now in that he will actually take it, and sometimes he will make it. He was actually shooting pretty well to end this season, so you're actually taking somewhat, okay, you prefer Giannis to shoot the ball obviously, but if you're not going to guard him at the 3-point line, you are gambling 3 points. It's not like with Ben Simmons where you know he won't even shoot it. At that point it's a liability. Giannis is not a liability out there. However, committing to Embiid, that is also, especially this prematurely where this is their second playoffs together, you're going to say you might fail in the first or more than likely the second round this year and just go ahead and split it up. I think that's way premature. Also because Embiid, there is no assurance that he's going to be around long term. There's just not. Health has been a problem with him every single year of his career. One thing I tweeted out a long time ago, and one thing I still think holds true today, I never want to see a player get injured, but every time he falls, I'm just waiting for something to happen because he falls so haphazardly, crashes to the ground with amazing force, crashes wildly. And I'm always just waiting for that moment that it turns out to be serious. Not that I want it to happen, but I'm like, at this rate, something bad is going to happen. But even if it's not just a freak accident fall, right? Just look at where we are right now. This is considered Embiid's healthiest season, and he played 64 games, and he's now lumbering through a playoff series where right now it says he's day-to-day. He's questionable to play right now. In a series where Philly is down, and if he is out of the series, or if he's out of this game, they very well could lose. Before this year, he played 63 games and then 31 games, and before that, he didn't play at all. He missed 2 straight seasons. Until he actually proves he can be healthy, you cannot commit to this because right now, what I'm looking at, Embiid's an amazing talent when he's healthy, but it looks like health may be, he looks like one of the stars that health just may deter. That's the pattern so far. That's what's happening right now. That's what's been happening. So I can understand if he was healthy. If he was healthy, I would actually consider this a bit more. If he had been playing 70 games and all his injuries weren't below the hips where we're talking about knees and feet, then I would say after Ben Simmons, if he's going to continue to not improve his game, then yeah, go with Embiid and try to better this team a different way. But right now it's very early, and also Embiid is not a great long-term investment for your money. If you're looking at him right now, that is not a good long-term investment. Until he shows otherwise, that would not be wise. So on the opposite side of the shooting spectrum, we have that Curry would be cooking for an entire series, then we'll have one bad game, then everyone yells he doesn't perform or he sucks in the playoffs. I think this more pertains to the finals, and it has some truth to it actually, and I even think it's unpopular because obviously everyone always goes for Steph in the finals, but I actually made a whole video on that talking about the myth that Steph Curry is a choker in the finals. Maybe I could have been clearer that that wasn't to say that he's never choked, but to have the label of a choker, I think that's a bit excessive for him because he's had moments where he choked, like obviously in Game 7 of the 2016 finals. Yeah, couldn't blame that all on his knee. He had a very crucial turnover that he did not need to throw behind his back. NBA Storyteller did a great job pointing out that Steph should have taken that shot where he was about to pull from like 30 plus feet when Kevin Love was playing off of him. That was his shot and he should have taken it. So yeah, he has moments like that. But then you'll say, okay, what about the 2015 finals? That's where a lot of people say that Delly locked him up and that, oh yeah, he couldn't win finals MVP, Iguodala did it. But if you go back and watch that series, he started cooking Dellavedova rotisserie style. It eventually happened. Delly had like 1.5 games where he got the best of Curry. There was one game where it was like he was just giving him fits. But the thing that gets lost is Curry figured Dellavedova out. Delly is on his highlight, pretty much getting sauced. Even if it was decent defense, he still ended up getting sauced. Curry was not the most efficient that series, but he played a lot better than people think. And that can't be considered a series where he choked. Then last year he had one bad game, so the finals MVP, that was pretty much the decider in the finals MVP going to KD. Yeah, I could see what this guy is talking about here, because especially in this scenario that it's become a label for him that he's a choker, he really could just go off in the entire finals and then have one game where he has like 15 points, and that's when everyone's going to say there goes Steph again. But yeah, I get the point here. The Celtics will actually turn on the switch in the playoffs. Well, 1-0 so far. People were really coming at my squad with this whole Indiana BS, and then they played the worst game they could have possibly played and still won. Still ended up double digits. However, I'm not gonna front. Y'all ever seen that picture of Mekhi Phifer with the cigarette in his hand and he just looked like he's having a tough time with life? That was me in the first half of that game. First half, I was like, good lord, here we go. Tatum is taking contested mid-range pull-ups, nobody's making a shot. Defense is breaking down, turnovers, and it was just stressing me out because the AC is broken in the house already, so that's one thing. But then all this was going on, and I was just like, bro, you don't know which Celtics you're going to get on any given day. You don't even know which one you're going to get for the half. You saw the first half was like the regular season Celtics, and then the second half was the playoff Celtics, so I don't even know. Like I said, they could lose to Milwaukee in the second round, or they could finally use all that talent and go God mode and make a run. I don't know. This is why I hate predictions, but they're still so much fun and I do them anyways. How about this? I actually saw a lot of takes pertaining to the first round of the playoffs, or the amount of games in the playoffs period. And this one is saying that the first round should all be one game. It would make it a lot more exciting. Wow, so he's talking about single elimination in the first round. Wouldn't that throw a wrench in everything? First of all, that's never going to happen, obviously because of money. Second of all, I don't like that. Me and my dad have discussed that because he likes the single elimination in the NFL, and he always talks about how he would love that in basketball. And I'm like, nah, that's how you end up with like the Pistons and the Jazz in the finals. I'm good on that. I don't know. I like it in basketball because any team can beat any other team on any given day in the NBA. That's just how it goes. You find somebody on a cold night, then the Warriors end up losing to the Lakers before they had LeBron. Like, you just never know, so I don't like that in basketball at all. However, there was a lot of people saying, well, it should just be like best of 3. I saw people saying best of 3 for the first round and 5 games for the second round. Nah, the only one I would ever want to shorten if we did would be the first round. But it has been a point of conversation in the past, and I even sort of agree that the first round doesn't need to be as long as it is, because take for instance what we have right now with the Bucks and the Pistons. I don't even want to say it out loud because I feel like I'm going to jinx it, but it's a total waste of time now with Blake Griffin out. I originally wanted to see him play, but that series is just a total waste of time. Don't even know why Detroit is there now. Now all we have is opportunity for Giannis to get hurt. That's all there is. They're wasting time in the first round with this inferior team, and just rarely ever do you run into a situation where the first round turns out to be this wild 7-game series, this amazing series, and maybe that only applies to like the 1-8 matchup. I don't know, I just don't think the first round has to be, it doesn't really need to require 4 wins. But everything after that though, when you start getting into better series like we're probably going to have with the Celtics and Bucks and things like that, yeah, at that point I want to see you beat the other team 4 times, because you beat somebody 4 times and there's not a whole lot you can say about it. Like, that's kind of definitive in most cases. But yeah, what do you all think about a shorter first round? I did see that a lot, so let me know what you think about that. And I'm going to wrap this up with this last take that says the playoffs are better without LeBron. You know, I'm actually pretty indifferent right now. When the playoffs first started, it was kind of weird. I was like, wow, we're really about to have a playoff series without LeBron. But then it didn't really make a difference anymore. Like where we are right now, I'm not constantly thinking about if he was here or not. The only thing that I'm happy about with him not being in the playoffs is that there's no potential for a Warriors-LeBron ending, because I'm really sick of that. That's been a very anticlimactic ending every year except 2016, so I'm at least excited to see what somebody else does against the Warriors, but I really wouldn't say they're better or worse without him right now. This goes back to the video I made months ago where he was saying the East is basically good because he left, and I totally disagreed. The East this year was great either way because you had 4 really talented teams, 4 teams that you each think could at least have a chance to make the finals, so that was happening whether he stayed or not. And that's part of what's supposed to be making the East entertaining. And even if he was out West right now, we all know the Lakers would not have been able to handle the Warriors in a playoff series, so like I said, I don't really think they're better or worse. I'm actually surprised by how indifferent I am to his absence right now. Like, so far we just have a lot of good first round matchups, and then we know that's supposed to go even further once we get to the second round of each conference. Those are going to be even more fun. It's pretty much going to be a good lead up all the way to the finals, so with or without LeBron, I don't think it was that much of a difference this year because he didn't have a team that we expected to go far either way. But let me know what you think about that in the comment section. Hit the like button, comment, and sub if you enjoyed, and make sure to follow my Twitter if you want to be a part of these unpopular opinion videos. I do these every so often whenever I come up with the topic, and yeah, they're always fun to do, so the link to that is in the comment section and the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.